Welcome to the GrowthPro Edge. We're here to help scale your business, build stronger teams, and sharpen your leadership skills. Hello and welcome to the GrowthPro Edge. I'm Denise Killian, your host with the GrowthPro Group and Trainertainment. Whether you're looking to scale your business, develop high-performing teams, or level up your personal leadership, you've come to the right place. Here at the GrowthPro Group, we know that growth only happens when you take a break from all the doing and spend just a little bit of time thinking. So each week, we'll talk about issues that impact growth for our teams, for our business, and for ourselves. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our 2026 GrowthPro Edge sponsors: Embed, Party Center Software, A&A Global, Betson, Simnox, Schaefer, and Rogue. We appreciate their support, which helps us to bring you a new episode of the GrowthPro Edge each and every week. I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Please take a moment and subscribe right now on Apple or Spotify or however you watch or listen to your podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Josh, welcome to the GrowthPro Edge. So thrilled to have you.
Hey, Denise, thanks for having me.
Listen, before we get started talking about float and all of those unused dollars out there, take a moment to introduce yourself. I know you work with Embed, but tell us about what you do at Embed.
Sure. I'm Josh Adkins, sales manager lead here at Embed. Been here for a couple years. Been in the industry for coming up on about 10 years. Lead a team here of our sales division in North America.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about float today, and you mentioned something earlier. I'm stealing it already. There's an estimated $21 billion in unused gift cards, game cards, activity cards out there, which
Yeah.
is a big chunk of money.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of, the big picture macro level of, when you look at retail and everybody involved, that the recent report showed over 21 billion. So, when you kind of look down at the micro level at our world, you're looking at game points and, tickets and that type of thing. But yeah, it's a part of that huge unused spend that's just sitting out there, in the American pockets.
So is this something, how much attention should retailers be and FEC owners be paying attention to this? Because at the end of the day, if I gave you a $50 gift card, or I walk into the FEC and I load my card up with $50 and I don't spend that $50 and I have a balance on that card, you've already got the $50.
Sure.
So why is this something? Is this something we should be really paying attention to?
Yeah, I think there's a few different factors that come into play, and also depending on your kind of setup too. A more like a tourist attraction, they're gonna see more of that, right? Where they see the customers come in and leave with it. So it might not be as big of an issue to somewhere like that, but your local centers and community-based ones, I think, is something you definitely want to monitor and keep track of. I think if you use your reporting in your card reader system, you can kind of see what your average would be for your kind of month to month and week to week balances. And it gives you a good idea of, okay, if worst case scenario, everyone came in today with all of these cards, here's what I'm liable for, right? Or here's what point values are on those cards. So I think in our world, the dollar value isn't necessarily as more important as maybe the ticket value that's on the card, knowing that, hey, there's, this many tickets are out there and that's tied to real merchandise, right? Real dollars that you've spent. But again, the dollar value is important because you can look for inconsistencies. After time, if you start looking at these reports, you can kind of get an average. And if you know your average is in, $50 to $60,000 or something, and one week you look and now it's $200,000, something's probably gone awry in the system, or other things have gone wrong. So I think it's something FEC owners should definitely be looking into and taking a look at.
Yeah. And of course, we know that when people come in, if they do have a gift card, or if they're like, oh, I still have a balance, and they come walking in, we know chances are they're probably going to spend more than that initial $50 or whatever that value might be, right?
Typically, yep.
So how do you minimize that risk then with float?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways you can do it. So, one thing that a lot of customers will do, like a half price Wednesday or something on the games, and that way, customers that have those high balances usually will draw them in and spend them pretty quickly. Another thing, just kind of that ties in the whole ecosystem, is from the beginning is having a good redemption prize selection. I think that's a big driver of the gameplay, and when customers see that there's something they can attain and that there's valuable high quality prizes, they're more willing to spend those tickets, right away because they have options to spend it on. So I think starting with a strong redemption and crane offering, depending on your setup, is a good starting point. And then again, offering some sort of, half price games or some promotions to kind of drive those people to spend those points.
Okay. And yeah, that what you what you're getting for those points becomes really important, right? So
Right. Yep.
if you have a whole lot of high priced items, I mean, I know that there's a lot of places now that in their redemption centers and counters, they've got, Coach purses or Michael Kors
Sure.
bags or,
Right.
these really high priced items that takes people a long time to build up to get those
Yep.
tickets.
Yeah.
So if you've got a lot of those high priced items, you're probably going to be carrying more in those balances than if you've got more items that are sort of, not the 300,000 tickets to get the Michael Kors purse, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that how what your redemption makeup is can play a part in that. Okay.
Yeah, and that kinda ties into, wanting to use that reporting to kinda check your, ticket balances on customers, right? And see, okay, who has, maybe over 10,000 tickets, and that way you can kinda dig in and see, okay, are they playing regularly, or is it someone that's coming in and saving? And it can also help uncover maybe fraud or that type of thing too. If you see, someone has an exact even balance, they've got exactly 20,000 tickets, you might look into that and see, was that an internal error, or was that somebody giving someone some tickets? So there are some indicators in there that kind of help you uncover some other things.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So what's the difference then in float versus the credit versus cash then when you're talking about float?
Sure. So, of course, in our world, a lot of times the points are just, or the $50 you put on the card is going to be used towards arcade games. Not necessarily a physical item, but there are some customers that use e-cash where that card can be used for, either memorabilia or food and beverage and that type of thing. So it's not as common, but when you are using it that way, your reporting and your kind of tax implications are going to be different. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you're able to pull those reports and know what your float is when it's with the cash. But that being said, each state and, federal governments have different regulations. So I would definitely recommend looking and see what you have to report each year and kind of how your state, requires you to recognize that revenue. Sometimes it's only when it's spent. Sometimes it's when you've received it. So it just kind of depends on where you're at.
Okay. All right. So when we talk about the reports and regulations, it's got to vary state by state, right? Are there federal
Yeah.
regulations in addition to whatever state you're in?
Yeah, I don't think the federal regulations on this are too specific. I think it's going to be more with your local or state is where you're going to see kind of the more minute details on this. So, but it really kind of comes to like your audit cycles and that type of thing. So, if your audit is going to be every 5 years, you don't want to make sure you're keeping those all of that data within that time frame, right? So, part of this is a lot of customers will set up an expiry date for unused cards. So you can set in your card system if a customer hasn't used this card for 2 years straight, then it'll automatically be deleted, and kind of in the balance deducted. So if you do have that in place, you want to make sure that lines up with kind of your reporting needs and your audit needs.
Okay. All right. So when we talk about that timeline of say 3 years or 5 years or 2 years, is there communication that you should be having with those customers? Is there a way to connect that card to an actual person that you can send them maybe a text message or an email saying, "Hey, remember us, come back. You still have money."
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, your card system should be able to register cards. So either at your kiosk or at the point of sale, customers can definitely register a card and exactly tie it to them. Phone number. What's also great with that is you can get their birthday and send them something on their birthday. Hey, here's some free tickets and that type of thing. And then, when it comes to communicating that the card expires, typically that's like on the back of the card or in the terms and conditions. But if you're in an area where people are coming back over and over again, you really don't see that issue too much of 2 years without, activity, unless it's something like a gift or something like that. Um, yeah.
Okay. So finding the card system that can help you do this is important, right? So what are some of the other things that card systems can help when talking about minimizing the risks and liabilities for float?
Yeah, I think it really just ties back to all the reporting. There's the card systems take in so much information and so much data. So it would really, reach out to your card system provider and make sure that you're looking at the right reports. Many of the systems have over, 100 to 200 different kinds of reports, so it can take time to kind of weed through and figure out what you need to see. But all of that data and all that information's there. So I think, again, knowing what you need to look at, like I said before, kind of seeing those if that balance jumps drastically, or if you're seeing kind of all of a sudden a high ticket value on a card and they've only played one game, there's all of that information's in there. Every single time that card's swiped or tapped, it's all in there. So it's interesting when you talk to people that, run into customers that are trying to, they try to they find loopholes or something like that, or they find a game that's not operating correctly and they're able to exploit it. It's like, well, all that data and that electronic history is there. So it's just being able to drill down and find what you need.
Okay, fantastic. So what are some other ways that you can do to incentivize your customers to use that balance?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of times it's just promotions, whether it's advertising through Facebook or through your social channels of the half price game nights, or some customers will do, um, I've seen recently is like a scavenger hunt. So like, you can take your arcade readers and they can change different colors, right? And so this is kind of a two-way benefit is, maybe you have a new game that people haven't discovered yet, or maybe you have a game that's underperforming. You change that specific game reader to orange, and you tell the kids, hey, if you find the orange game and play it 2 times or whatever it may be, you get a free teddy bear or something like that. So one, you can kind of get them to spend, and then two, you can kind of direct them as to which games you want them to do. So that's something new I kind of saw to kind of get people to play specific games. But typically a half price night or something like that really gets the people coming in and spending their points pretty quick.
Okay. All right, that's a fun idea, the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
That's a really fun idea. Okay.
Especially the kids, like, especially like littler kids, and if you're in an area that's got a lot of games, they're kind of running around looking for them. And, you could even have a bunch of different colors to kind of make it a little more challenging to find, and so I think there's a lot of fun things you can kind of do, just beyond, half price and that type of thing.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I really love that idea. So, okay, so uh if there's one kind of parting thought about float, what is your recommendation for folks out here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, again, it's all about the data. I think going back, making sure you are aware of which reports to look at and comfortable with it. Work with your card system provider, rep to kind of help you digest what you're looking at. As I said, there can be over hundreds of reports in there, but I think that information, what you want to see is nothing exciting, right? You don't want to see all this change in it. So that's what you want to see is some static information, and when you do see those big variables, that's when you can kind of dig in deeper and see what's causing this, or why is no one spending money or tickets, or why all of a sudden has our flow doubled in the last 6 months. So I think it helps uncover more issues potentially.
And I think, you raise a good point. We are in a world in which we have more data than literally we know what to do with.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, any of the systems that we use, oh, we've got this dashboard and we can have this report and this report and this report. But if you don't understand what you're looking at, it's kind of a
Right.
if you're not identifying these are the KPIs, these are the key things that we know are the indicators for our business and how it's doing and what we need to watch, then it's irrelevant. So
Yeah.
making sure that you have that good relationship with those providers, that you can have those conversations and be like, dude, what am I looking at here? Like,
Right. Yes.
what does this
Yes.
even mean? Right.
Well, yeah, and a lot of owners, where do they have the time to sit down and look at reports, right? So a lot of the owners in the FEC world, they're working it, right? They're there the whole time. So, I would like definitely lean on your card provider and help them, your card system provider to, dig into those reports for you. Let them know exactly what should I be looking for? Because sometimes, if you're new to this space, you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't even know you could have all the reports in the world, but you don't even know what to look at. You don't know what's wrong or what's off base. So I think definitely leaning, to your card system provider, they can provide the expertise of, years of experience, looking at the whole country and kind of give you that breakdown of what's important in those reports.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a key point, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, listen, Josh, as we're coming to the end of our time together, I got to ask you the Growth Pro Edge question. Here
Yep.
at the Growth Pro Edge, we are all about growth. So, what do you do to grow yourself, either personally or professionally?
That's a good question. Honestly, I strive for just, 1% better each day. That's kind of what I go for. Some days it's more than that and you feel like you've made a great leap, and other days it's maybe just a little bit. But I think just trying to find that little bit, more each day, or at least identify, where can I either be more efficient personally or professionally, or kind of where can I change my habits. 'Cause I think that's the big part, is you just get set in your habit, right? It's like it gets done, the task gets done because of this habit, but is that the best way to do it, or are you just kind of going through the motions? So that's kind of the way I look at it each day. Just try to a little bit better, 1% more, and eventually we'll get there.
That's great. I love that. I love that. Now, Josh, tell us a little bit about Embed, what's going on in Embed, and the services that Embed offers.
Yeah, sure. So we're just now introducing, we've debuted at IAPA our new kiosk user interface. So if you're a current customer, definitely check that out, as we can upgrade that to the new look and the new style. We've also just introduced our new mobile tablet point of sale. So you're able to use the sales application on a tablet, kind of roaming. You're able to do everything, card sales and everything through that you would at the front desk. And then, of course, our mobile wallet feature is now included with our standard monthly license. So every customer has access to the mobile wallet feature, where you can save a card to your mobile phone in your Google or Apple wallet, and then reload from your phone, or use your phone to tap on the reader.
Great. And that mobile wallet is super fun too, because you can do it before you even come in, right? So if you've
Yeah,
got a
that's what's
family,
great. Yep.
right?
Mom and dad can be at home. They don't even have to be in. Mom and dad could be at home and reload it, or they could be at another part of the center. But yeah, that's what we see is the biggest use, is people reload before they even get there. And that way they can just go straight to the game and start playing.
Yep. Yep. So mom and dad can go to the bar and have a beverage. Kids can run
Yep.
off into the arcade. Everybody's happy, right?
Yep. Yep. Then they just send mom and dad a text, and they can reload the card, and everyone just keeps on going. So yeah.
There it is. Wonderful. Well, Josh, thank you so much for this. It's really interesting information. I'm still scratching my head at that $21 billion that's just kind of
Yeah.
out there.
It's kind of, yeah, it's sitting out there. And one part too, I read with Starbucks specifically, they have almost 2 billion. But they've actually, a lot of theirs is money that people have deposited into their app. And so they've actually earned interest on that. So they're making money on people not spending their money, I guess. So it's kind of crazy when you look at those numbers and how big it is, and then drill down to our world. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go dig through all my old purses and see if I can find old gift cards, right?
Right? Yeah, I'm sure we all have a stack somewhere. Yeah.
You've inspired me.
Right.
All right, Josh. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. A lot of great information here to download. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Denise. Thanks for having me.
Well, I hope that today's conversation helped give you the practical tools for a mindset shift to give you an edge. If you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to rate and review on Apple and Spotify. Your support helps us reach more business leaders just like you. And don't forget to visit thegrowthprogroup.com to access show notes and a transcript and the video of today's episode. If you're ready to grow, your team, your business, or yourself, contact us at thegrowthprogroup.com and set up a free growth call with one of our coaches. Once again, a special thanks to our sponsors, Embed, Party Center Software, A&A Global, Betson, Simnox, Schaefer, and Roller. For all that they do to help us bring you the GrowthPro Edge, we certainly appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Denise Killian with the GrowthPro Group. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for the extraordinary.